You're standing over the golf ball. It's a putt you've made 10,000 times, a foot from the hole. Your hands know exactly what to do. But as you draw the putter back, your brain suddenly decides to take the wheel. Your muscles tighten, your wrist twitches, you miss. It's humiliating. Everyone saw it. And in that moment, you feel like a failure. But the real answer is far stranger. Your body didn't betray you. Your brain did. Because when the tribe is watching, your mind activates a survival system so ancient, so deeply wired, that it will sabotage your most practiced skill rather than risk a single public mistake. To understand why, you have to look at how your brain stores skill. When you practice a movement over and over, your brain offloads it from conscious thought. It moves the pattern into a deep, silent network called procedural memory. This system lives in the basal ganglia and the cerebellum. It runs fast, it runs smooth, and it doesn't require any thinking at all. That's why a concert pianist can play a complex piece while carrying on a conversation. That's why you can drive a familiar route with no memory of the drive. Your body just knows. But then something changes. You step onto a stage. 100 eyes turn toward you, and your brain's social survival monitor fires up. This monitor sits largely in a region called the anterior cingulate cortex, or ACC. The ACC acts like a sentry, constantly scanning for errors, conflict, and pain. And here's where it gets eerie. Neuroimaging studies by Naomi Eisenberger showed that social rejection activates the exact same neural alarm as physical injury. Being watched and judged by others lights up the ACC as if your body is under threat. So when all those eyes land on you, your ancient brain does the math. It interprets the situation as a life or death social evaluation, and it takes emergency control. Suddenly, the conscious, analytical prefrontal cortex barges in. It starts breaking down a fluid, automatic movement into tiny pieces: grip, wrist angle, backswing. Your procedural system stutters. The smooth flow collapses into choppy, overthought steps. Psychologist Sion Baylock calls this paralysis by analysis. In her experiments, expert golfers who were told to focus on the mechanics of their swing performed far worse than those who just swung naturally. The moment you think about it, you've already lost. Why would your brain sabotage you like this? The answer lies in the savannah, not on the green. For your ancestors, a public performance wasn't about applause. It was about survival. Throw a spear badly while the tribe watches, and you might lose your status as a hunter. Stumble during a ritual dance, and you could be seen as weak, untrustworthy, or even cursed. In a small hunter-gatherer band, being ostracized meant almost certain death. There were no second chances, no other groups to join, so your brain evolved a hypervigilant system. Whenever the social stakes were high, it would hijack your automatic functions and force you to painstakingly control every movement, just in case. Better to be slow and awkward than wrong and dead. This was a brilliant trade-off a million years ago. But today, on a modern stage, that same system turns a simple skill into an impossible task. You might feel this as a racing heart, sweaty palms, or a blanking mind. That's your sympathetic nervous system flooding you with adrenaline. Your hippocampus struggles to retrieve memories under stress. The verbal fluency you had moments ago evaporates, all because your brain believes those faces in the audience are sizing you up for banishment. Roy Baumeister's classic research on choking found that the pressure of an audience doesn't just distract you, it makes you self-conscious. You begin monitoring yourself from the outside. You imagine how you look, how you sound. This shift in attention disrupts the delicate balance your brain needs to execute automatic skills. You become both performer and critic, and the critic wins every time. So what can you do? The science points to a strange solution. The harder you try not to choke, the more likely you are to choke. Instead, you have to convince your ancient social monitor that the crowd is not a threat. Singing a song in your head, focusing on a single unrelated word, or simply accepting the anxiety and redirecting attention to a broad external cue can quiet the prefrontal cortex just enough to let your procedural memory do its job. But perhaps the most powerful reframe is this: choking under pressure is not a sign of personal weakness. It is the echo of an ancient brain doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you from social death. Your brain was never built for solo performances under lights. It was built to keep you inside the circle, alive, accepted. So the next time you step up to that crucial putt or walk onto that stage and your heart pounds and your mind goes blank, remember, you are not broken. You are carrying a million-year-old survival instinct that once kept your ancestors from being left behind on the savannah. And if the ball still misses the hole, if the words still stumble out, just know your brain was preparing for a much bigger threat than embarrassment. It was prepared to save your life. The only problem is, the crowd wanted a birdie, not blood.